Are you wanting to flip a house with none of your own money, but you have no idea how you're going to get that money, and you're finding yourself stuck in analysis paralysis, not even wanting to make an offer because you have no idea how you would even begin to start paying for this property? Well, you're in the right place, because on today's video, I'm giving you a tip on where a majority of the money that I use to fund all of my real estate investing flips comes from, and how I'm able to pay for these properties with none of my own money. That's right, I literally use $0 of my own money. And when I was first getting started in real estate, I used all of my money on a coaching program, so I literally had no money to buy these flips. And lo and behold, I was still able to buy a flip in Hawaii with none of my own money, and ended up selling it 6 months later for a whooping profit of $40,000. And I wouldn't be able to do it without this one strategy. Now, the secret to this strategy is using what's called a hard money lender. A hard money lender is essentially just a corporation or company that funds fix and flippers like myself a majority of the cost of the project, in addition to a majority of the rehab, if not all of it. Rehab just means renovation costs. So when I say rehab, renovation, just know those go intertwined. It's the same thing. So with that being said, make sure you stay to the end of this video, because I'm going to give you the exact questions that you should be asking a hard money lender anytime you're talking to them. And these are going to give you the opportunity to pick the best hard money lender that is for you. So let's get right into it. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because every single Tuesday I'm dropping tips on how to find your first deal and get paid. That way you can be on your way to a profit and living your dream life that you've always imagined. And on this channel, I even take you along for the journey on fun travels that we like to go on, because it's not just all about real estate all the time. You do real estate so that you can have the freedom to live a life on your own terms. And that is exactly why you're gonna wanna watch this video, so that you can learn how to leverage other people's money to buy your real estate investing deals. So with that said, let's get started. Now, the first and foremost question that you wanna ask your hard money lender, of course, is what are the terms? And when I say what are the terms, specifically I'm asking how many points and what is the interest rate? Now, what is a point, you ask? A point essentially is just a percentage of the loan. So if the hard money lender is charging 1 point of the loan amount, then it just means they're charging 1% of the loan amount. So if you take a $100,000 loan, then if you multiply that by 1 point, 1% of $100,000 is $1,000. And that just means that's how much they're going to charge you up front on the property in order to fund you. Now, the second part of that is the interest rate. Now, when it comes to the interest rate, not all hard money lenders are created equal. Some people are going to charge you 10%. Some people are going to charge you 17%. Everybody is different, and it really just depends on the lender itself. Typically, right now in March of 2024, you're going to find hard money lenders around that 11 to 13% range currently. Right now, I'm getting about 1 point and 12%. And if you're interested in possibly getting that hard money lender contact, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram. I'm more than happy to share that with you. Now, that takes me to question number 2, and that is, what is your loan to value? A loan to value essentially means how much of the loan are you actually going to fund? And typically this is going to be around 80%, give or take 10%. Depending on the deal, hard money lender is going to be able to fund a percentage of your total purchase price. So for example, I once bought a property for $350,000, and the lender was willing to pay 90% of that purchase price, because that property as is was actually worth $500,000. Now let's take a totally different scenario, and you're buying a house for $350,000, but your property is actually worth as is $400,000. So in that case, because you're not getting as deep of a deal, the hard money lender is going to want to take less risk, and they're going to want to fund less of the purchase price. So it's really going to vary. Sometimes you're going to have to pay 25% down. Sometimes you have to pay 10% down. Really, the best I could find ever on a really good deal was 10% down, because they're going to want you to have some skin in the game. So loan to value is super, super important when it comes to understanding what kind of hard money lender you're working with. Now, the third question to ask is there a seasoning requirement on the down payment? Because if you're paying these properties with none of your own money, that means you're typically raising that down payment plus the remaining closing costs from a private money lender. This is just literally any individual that's willing to give you money upfront for the project, and you're going to end up paying them a return on their money down the line once you sell it. But some hard money lenders might require a seasoning period on those funds. So for example, if your hard money lender is requiring a 30-day seasoning period, then that means you're going to have to raise that money 30 days before you even go get this property under contract. And that would suck, because that means now you're paying interest on something that you don't even own. So these hard money lenders that might have a more strict process with those funds might have a lower interest rate because they feel more protected. But then on the other hand, you might not even have that money. So sometimes at the end of the day, you might want to go for that person that is, let's say, 12% instead of 11% interest, just because of that seasoning period. And you need to understand that, because if you're going through the loan process and you're like, I'm running my numbers based off of this hard money lender that's going to give me 11%, and later you find out that your funds have a seasoning period and you don't have those funds yet, then you're crap out of luck. I mean, you can't use that hard money lender, and you're going to have to go with that 12%. And if it's a large deal and you didn't have a lot of profit in the first place, that 1% extra might kill your deal. So you need to understand if there's any type of seasoning period on those funds. Now, the fourth and final question of the most important questions to ask your hard money lender is, what does your draw process look like? Now, what does that even mean? When it comes to a hard money lender funding your renovation costs, typically they'll let you fund 100% of those costs. Now, the problem is that the mistake that newer investors make is that they think that all of that money, that rehab budget, is going to come to you upfront at closing. That's just not the case. It's actually not going to come to you unless you finish the work. So how does that even work? Essentially what happens is that you go do the work for a project, and once you're complete with a specific line item, let's say you say it takes $10,000 to demo this project, and you already told the hard money lender that it's going to take $10,000 for that. Once you complete that demo and you show the hard money lender that it's complete, now they're going to pay you back. But you have to remember, what contractor is going to do the work if you haven't even paid them any money? So where does that money come from? The reality is you're going to have to raise that money up front just to float the project in the beginning, and then the hard money lender will pay back your renovation costs. And you want to understand what that draw process is. Essentially, a draw process is you pulling money from that rehab budget to pay back the work that you've already done. And you want to understand what that process looks like, because some hard money lenders require somebody from their team to come out to the project, inspect it, and then they'll pay back your money in, let's say, a week. You want to work with somebody who's going to be quick. They might be willing to take some photos of completed work, and then from there, they'll pay you the money in 24 to 48 hours. I don't know about you, but that's the kind of person that I want to work with. Someone who's easy and quick, who's not going to make a fuss out of coming out to the project, having to wait for them, then submitting it back to corporate, and going through this whole extensive process. If I need the money, I need the money now, and I'd rather have somebody who's going to have a quick process to be able to give that money back. And so those are really my top 4 questions that you need to ask a hard money lender to understand which hard money lender you actually want to work with. Because again, not all hard money lenders are created equal. And with this information, you're going to be able to figure out whether or not, 1, you want to work with this lender, and 2, if the deal actually works based off of the terms that they've given you. And so that concludes this video, guys. If that helped you at all, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see, especially for your newer investors who are just trying to get in the game, get more information. Give me some topics below, give me some questions, hit that like button if you haven't already, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on another video. And if you are interested in coaching at all, make sure you go to the link in the description below. I'm more than happy to get on a free 15-minute strategy call, help point you in the right direction, and see if I could help point you to finding your first deal and getting paid. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next video. Shoots.